What's up, y'all, and welcome back to Dad Needs to Talk. I am your host, Robert, aka Father of Vash. And in this video, I wanted to do a little quick look back on Vinland Saga, the slave slash farmland arc. So let's get to it. Alright, so what's up, y'all? As always, welcome back to Dad Needs to Talk. If this is your first time here, welcome. And you've been here before, then welcome back. So, yeah, like I said, I wanted to kind of do this video just kind of real quick, just kind of like reflecting. I guess before, as usual, if you're not already, make sure to subscribe to the channel for all of your videos and podcasts related to fatherhood, manga, anime, and video games. Be greatly appreciated. So, like I said, Vinland Saga. I am about to go into the next arc, which I think is called the Eastern Expedition arc. But before I do, I kind of wanted to reflect back on the previous arc, which some people call the slave arc, some call it Farmland Saga, whichever name you want to use. That's what I could just kind of want just to touch on briefly now. For those who might not know, I did separate podcasts for each of these three books, for books 5, 6, and 7 that cover that arc, which is pretty much chapters 55 to 100, or technically 53, because the actual first two chapters of the arc is at the end of book 4. But yeah, so these three books cover the arc which takes place after season 1 of the anime, which is also kind of known as kind of like the I can't think of the proper term, the prologue. I can't think of the freaking word, the prologue. So yeah, obviously this will contain spoilers for stuff from those three books from that full arc. Like I said, I'm not gonna do this video too long, because as I was saying, I have done individual podcast episodes. They were pretty lengthy. I think they were like knocking on like an hour a piece talking about each of these three books. So I'll have those linked in the description box below if you want to kind of hear my thoughts and me reading through all three of those books. But I kind of wanted to do this, like I said, because since I did those three books, I have since started this YouTube channel, and just to kind of like do like a clean transition, I guess you could say, wanted to just, like I said, just kind of just during a look back. I'm not going to go through every single detail, because like I said, that's what those podcast episodes are for. So if you want super specific, lengthy, go check out those. So anywho, let's dive into it. So reflecting back, because I read these at the very beginning of the summer, so this was like back around like April, May-ish that I read these, but I really enjoyed it, and I'm pretty excited for season 2 of the anime coming, because it should be covering this arc. But I feel like this arc was kind of that really good look at how much Thorfinn has grown, and that's across these three books, because they take place. So the story starts up like some years, like maybe a handful of years, or at least like a few years, I think, after what happened at the end of the prologue with Askeladd being killed and Canute ascending to the crown. and then Thorfinn getting dragged away. We pick back up, like I said, like some years later, with new characters like Einar starting us off, and basically we run into Thorfinn, who we find out during these years he got sold into slavery, and this is pretty much just his journey of self-reflection, accepting, the many horrible things he did over those 10 years, because remember, he was with Askeladd for at least a decade, because he was like a tiny child, maybe like 6 or so, and then he was with him till he was like 16, 17, and stuff. But yeah, so this is kind of just him just trying to atone, or I guess just trying to find peace with himself for all the horrible things he did. And I really enjoy the slower pace of this arc, and just how it was pretty just kind of day to day, just Thorfinn and Einar working together on Catil's farm, with the promise of like, hey, y'all working and till this land, make it to where it can grow crops and stuff, whatever. Then in about 3 years, y'all should have worked enough to basically pay for your own freedom. And by the time we get to the end of this, they did. But along the way, we get to see both Thorfinn, as well as we also check in with Canute, or King Canute now, and we see how much they both have grown, and the demons that they both are kind of fighting and dealing with. Because while Thorfinn is kind of struggling with what he's done in the past, Canute is also kind of haunted by the crown, so to speak, and the kind of like ghost of his father haunting him, and just kind of like learning to deal with the weight and responsibility that comes with that crown, as well as the expectations of what his father and forefathers did before him, but also trying to pave his own path going forward. And so this arc across these 3 books, like I said, a few years has passed before we even start, and then across these books, they take place at least like, I think like at least like 3 years pass again over the course of these books. And yeah, like I said, it was just so awesome. Just like I said, just getting to see, of course, getting to meet Einar. I really like him, him getting brought into the story. And then, like I said, all the stuff with Catil, with Snake, and the other kind of like hired, I don't want to say not hired bandits, but the hired soldiers, so to speak. They were kind of like living on the farm, and those moments where Thorfinn's vow to not fight again was tested many a time, but also us kind of getting a look at the person that he has become, and just the fact of like even though he hasn't really fought in a while, his body is just muscle memory, the way he just reacts and moves to different things. But yeah, it was just a freaking fantastic ride. And even when him and Canute end up crossing paths, when Canute comes to the farm because of the incident that happened with Catil's son and stuff, and that whole side story with both of his sons, even his older son, Catil's older son. But yeah, it was just a wild ride, and of course some sad moments, because can't remember her name, but the lady that ended up passing away, that was kind of like that Einar was in love with before we found out that she had this crazy husband who was also a slave on a nearby farm, and that whole situation. But in kind of just like just kind of wrapping this up, like I said, I wanted this to be very brief, but I like how like I said, we get to the end, and Thorfinn and them have bought and earned their freedom, and though of course they're kind of having to escape as well. But basically, because Leaf shows up and finds them. Uh, but I like how this uh, saga kind of ended and wrapped up with. I just loved. I believe, if I remember correctly, I believe chapter 100 was named Homecoming. Like I said, if I'm remembering correctly, and it was just kind of awesome. Just like after all these years, seeing Thorfinn returning home, returning to his mother, to his sister, who now has her own little family, kids and stuff running around. And then that moment when Thorfinn, when he's kind of sitting around the fire at night, and when he decided to kind of like tell his family, like, where he's been, what he's been up to over all these years, since the last time that they saw him, was definitely very powerful. But, or actually, forget, I might be misspeaking. I think that might have been that was at the very beginning of book 8, the next one I read. So, anywho, mild spoilers, but going back to like how it actually ended or whatever for the saga, whatever. Yeah, just him meeting his mother and stuff, whatever, and just like trying to, them trying to accept it, like, oh, he's actually been alive all these years, because for them, they haven't seen him in like 15 years, because he was with Ascalad for 10. And then between the like 2 or 3 years that passed after that, and then another like 2 or 3 years that passed across these books, yeah, he was there for like a solid 15, 16 years total. That his family just thought he was dead and gone. But yeah, and one last little thing I would just want to mention, because like I said, it was just so many moments of, I don't know, they just really hit me. But one in particular, because I actually have this panel saved as the background on my phone that I've had for months since I read it. But it was the moment where Einar and Thorfinn are talking, and it's basically where they're talking about like how can people change and stuff. And so in this, it says, this is Einar saying people can change, and I think you're already in the process of changing for the better. And yeah, so that's kind of how I want to just kind of wrap this up. So like I said, just want to just like I said, just do something a little bit different, and just kind of like I said, just kind of just reflect on this before I go into book 8 and continue this journey. But yeah, just let me know what y'all think, or what y'all thought of the Farmland / Slave Arc saga that happened in this series. And are you excited to see this adapted into the anime in season 2 whenever that comes? And yeah, so yeah, as always, thanks for watching or listening. Like I said up top, if you're not already, make sure you are subscribed to the channel, and be on the lookout for the next for this to continue with the next arc of Vinland Saga. So y'all be easy, y'all have an awesome day, and I'll catch you on the next one. Bye, peace.